拙者の親父も尺八が好きだった。剣一本の頑固なやつで他に何の取り柄もないが不思議に尺八だけを好んでな。見よう見まねで拙者も時折には国を出る時には病床に伏していたが無事でいるのやら見まかったのやら。
Chris Scalzo here with
Matt Howell, and this week on The First Run, well, we check out the latest from canon director of The First Run, Edgar Wright, with his the latest adaptation of Stephen King of Running Man, starring everybody's favorite everyman who is weirdly handsome. I think Glenn Powell's weirdly handsome. He has a very unique look to him.
Yeah.
And anyway, so it's The Running Man, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
That sounds good, Matt.
This, Chris?
I am. I'm a big Edgar Wright fan. I was trying to think if we should try and do like a letterboxed ranking of Wright's films too. I don't know. We can see how we feel about that. But I think at one point this is one of my more anticipated films of the year. So I'm really happy we finally catch up with it. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Right.
You want to hear something from it?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Give us a little taste.
Just for you, buddy. Just for you, Slugger.
Ben Richards, 35, married, one child, in medical crisis.
We need money for a doctor now.
Ben, watch us up.
Employment status, blacklisted. But there's still a way out for you. It's the biggest show in the country.
Bloodlust is our birthright! Set it free! Welcome to the Running Man!
People on these games never come back.
I'm not trying to get myself killed, so kiss my ass twice.
Right there is why you can win this game.
Right there, Matt. That's why you can win the game, buddy. So, what is Running Man all about, Matt? It's an adaptation of it's a Bachman book, right? One of the, it's not technically a Stephen King story. I guess it's technically a Stephen King story, but under his pen name.
Right. So, for those who don't know, when Stephen King, basically, he blew up with his first novel, Carrie. His next couple novels were just crazy successes in Salem's Lot and The Shining. And he got worried that he was being pigeonholed, that people were just buying his books because of his name. So he decided to see if he could write books under a different name that weren't necessarily horror and see if they sold. And they did okay.
There you go. So this is one of those adaptations. And, of course, you may be familiar as well, though, that this was previously adapted by Paul Michael Glazier of Starsky and Hutch fame, featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger as Ben Richards. A film that I did rewatch in anticipation of this episode, Matt. Did you do that as well, or no?
Yes, I had seen it recently. Not right before this episode, but I had seen it recently enough to where I remember.
So it's not without its flaws, that film, but it has a charm and cheesiness, I think, that kind of, and of course with Arnold's performance, that kind of carries you through the film's shortcomings, I think would be a fair way to put it. So this film, Matt, is a more, from what I understand too, because I have not read the book. I did read the, as most, smart people do. I just read the Wikipedia version of the short story, of the story, I should say. And one thing I was curious to see after, I didn't read it until afterwards, but I had read online, I don't know if it was Jason Bailey, but one of the critics I follow on what's the good one? Blue Sky is, he wrote that he doesn't think that they were going to be able to adapt the true ending, or at least he didn't think that Wright would have the guts to make that ending of the film, which I guess is much darker than this one is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to confess, too. Oh, I'm sorry. I still haven't told you what the movie's about, have I? I get so excited.
No, you
I get so
haven't.
excited talking about the Arnold's version.
Right. Okay.
So there's been a worldwide collapse, right? The economy is in shambles. There's two different, basically, United States. There's people who are, the super uber rich who get to have new bucks, which I did love that little nod where the dollars have, like, Arnold is the president, I guess, in this reality. And I guess conceptually too, I love the idea of new bucks. I'm surprised that it's not a real new dollars are not a real thing here at this point. Did you seen that too? How like the majority of the spending right now in the country is being done by like the upper 10%. They're driving like it's crazy. Anyway, all right. So Ben Richards played, of course, here by fan favorite, I guess, Glenn Powell. He's got a sick kid, he's got a wife, and his kid needs medication, so he goes to compete in one of these various reality kind of contestant shows that the networks also run the government, basically, do to get the money he needs. If he's able to win the Running Man, which is survive for 30 days without being captured and I guess really just killed, right? I don't think they even capture you in this one. You get popped. You get $1 billion. And only one guy has ever gotten close to winning. That was from the first season. So it's Powell as Ben Richards basically trying to survive as he's being hunted down by not just. I think they call them hunters here. They don't call them stalkers like they do in the OG version. And he also, what I love too, is he gets bonuses for like people he kills as well, and he gets even more money. I guess he gets money every day or every week, and then he gets extra bonuses if he pops somebody himself. He's got to turn in like a videotape once a week or once a month. I'm already blanking on what it was as well to kind of to not be disqualified, which of course allows them to track where he is. Sure, fine. So, but that's basically it. It's a modern day updated version of the film we saw that unfortunately just seems as timely as ever. So what are your thoughts, Matt, on this new version of The Running Man? I'm going to ask you this. I'll put it this way. This is going to tell you where I am on this. Has Wright matured as a director, or has he just lost his spirit, his indie spirit?
Yeah. So I think this is kind of two like singles, right? I wouldn't say that they're strikeouts from Wright. I think this and Last Night in Soho, Wright, have not been, they were not that great as far as how excited we were to see them, and just because they were Edgar Wright films, I think much more so with Last Night in Soho, right?
Well, I will say I love the construction of Last Night in Soho. I love the way he filmed it. I loved a lot of the doubles that's shifting into the dream world past. I loved all the technical stuff about that film, but the rest of it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not a home run, right? I mean, Edgar Wright has had a lot of home runs as far as, we're generally concerned. Like, we love the Cornetto trilogy. We love, Scott Pilgrim. I still love Baby Driver despite half the cast being problematic. I just kind of look past that.
That is a
while
cursed
I'm watching
film,
it.
for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But overall, like, I've really enjoyed his work, right? So this one, I hope it's not a trend, right, where he's maybe aging out. He's losing some of his creative spark, whereas I think he kind of goes for this jokey tone, and he just doesn't stick it. Like, it's not actually enough, right? Or it is, but it doesn't seem exciting enough, really. It seems all very, like, by the numbers bland, and it's not funny enough, and it's not exciting enough, and it's in, like, what satire is there isn't biting enough, and it's like it's just not enough, and I don't know what it is. If, like, he's, like I said, he's just aging out and he's losing his edge, and who knows, but there's something that's substantially off about this film, although I can't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really, unfortunately, struggled with this one as well. He was, a kinetic filmmaker. I think his films had a lot of whimsy and a sense of propulsion, or kind of, at least they used to. and sure, we get a couple cool needle drops here and there, but the film itself is all just so pedestrian. Like, he was a really exciting director. He was a guy I was excited to see his next movies. Shaun of the Dead, like Matt said, Hot Fuzz, brilliant. World's End, when I first saw it, I'm like, wow. You know, they had a big turn amount of time between those, right? He did World's End. It was Scott Pilgrim. I'm sorry, no, Hot Fuzz. Scott Pilgrim was in 2010. That's right. Which is fantastic. World's End, I thought, though, at that time was like though it lacked the stuff that Matt's talking about, it showed a maturity in him. I feel like everything kind of crystallized for him at that moment in that film. And then Baby Driver, still another home run at the time. But then, like Matt says, Last Night in Soho is just, it's missing something. It has there's still like a magic to it, but the gleam has worn off a bit. And then here with The Running Man, I feel like anybody could have directed this film. It doesn't feel like an Edgar Wright movie to me at all. It's sad to me. I mean, and I'm not sure what it is. If he's just, I don't know if he's just lost it. If the love and the passion he had for making films has somehow left him. Oh, I don't know what it could possibly be. I can't tell you how excited I was for this film, Matt, earlier in the year. And it's just a complete serviceable action movie, which is not who he's supposed to be. I don't know if part of it too, I have to lay at the feet of Glenn Powell. I'm concerned that he's just not a leading man. I kind of felt that way going into this, and I don't feel any different. Same thing with like Twisters. I mean, he's certainly, man, my man got ripped for this role. I mean, there's at least I don't think he had a carb or drink any water for at least a couple months. But and I will say, I think it is a reasonably good job the easy escalation to anger. He's supposed to have a kind of a temper. But then that kind of sort of disappears as well as we go. I don't know if it's because his character's maturing. I don't think so. But I like the rest of the film, he and the movie and us, we kind of just run out of gas. And I feel like at the end, we're just kind of grasping at ways to end this film. I don't know if Wright's too focused on the message he's trying to say and then therefore neglecting the actual narrative of the film, the driving narrative of the film. I don't know. It just has a sad lack of life for me.
Yeah. Do you think it's an effect of the fact that this is an adaptation? This is not his story, and that maybe he was trying to hew too close to the original source material? Because a lot of, from what I understand, I mean, I've never read the book either, but I mean, a lot of the beats in this are essentially the same, right? Whereas Arnold's version is very, very different. Other than having the names and some of the game show aspect of it, the kind of specifics are very different. Would he have been better served, do you think, maybe making something that was more, well, for lack of a better term, more Edgar Wright as opposed to sticking to Stephen King's story beats?
Absolutely. I don't know why he couldn't do that with this.
Right.
I don't think it's because he's adapting some pre-existing property, because he did that with Scott Pilgrim, and you could argue that's the best film he's made. So.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, you know, I almost expected him to be more likely to make like a remake of the Arnold version than I was for him to do a straight adaptation of the film or of the book.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been a more entertaining experience in this, and lean into the 80s aesthetic of it all. Because listen, I'm going to tell you, a lot of stuff in that movie does not work at all. I mean, with Sub-Zero, his whole thing about he had to lure them into an ice hockey rink, and how all the stalkers there are like obese, you know, except for Jesse. And then, and then what is it, Inferno? But still, it's, I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Maybe we would have been better off. You're entirely right about that. I don't know. Yeah, it's just, what a disappointment, man. What a disappointment. And I saw this too. I'm curious what you think about this. The AV Club did an article about this movie, and I got to admit, I appreciate the irony of Paramount releasing a film that basically skewers itself as they're starting to kind of buy up all that. They just, I guess, made an offer on Warner Brothers with two, there's the Arab Emirate funds. So they're trying to buy out Warner Brothers, which I will. And they've already, too, the Ellison, who runs Paramount, I guess they have a blacklist of people who've spoken out against the genocide in Gaza, that they will not hire them for any movies. I read. I don't know how accurate that is. That's crazy to me. But and now they're going after Warner. Warner Brothers is the crown jewel of cinema. I mean, they've been around the longest. They have all the stuff, the greatest back catalog. Well, that's why we have Blu-ray instead of HD DVD. It's because Warner Brothers signed on the Blu-ray because their library is so enormous. And it's fascinating to me that the Paramount would put this movie out, considering it's not like he made this as a direct takedown of them. It's not like Stephen Colbert with like HBO and all that, right? But at least I got to respect them for putting this out, because this film is basically taking their entire company to task right now. Though again, not on purpose, but it certainly has worked out that way. I don't know, Matt. It's disappointment. That's all I can say. I'm sitting at a C on this, and I looked it up. We gave Last Night in Soho, both of us, a B-.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a C is probably right. I don't think it's C- territory.
No.
It may be like a high C, but it's not great. It's very middle of the road, and that's just too bad.
Yeah, Edgar Wright's not supposed to be making middle of the road films at all. That's
right.
Oh man,
it's all been downhill since he got pulled off of Ant-Man.
I guess so. Which one's better then? The OG from the 80s or this one?
So here's the thing. I want to really stress that the one from the 80s is not good, right? It is incredibly cheesy, but it has, like Chris said, an 80s action movie charm that has been the cheesiness has been turned up to 11 on this thing, right? It's got Richard Dawkins. It's got these ridiculous death trap, gimmicky killer guys. Like half of Arnold's one-liner quips, they just fall flat. They're just terrible.
Oh, wait for the stinger, baby.
Terrible.
Absolutely.
They're so bad. And Mick Fleetwood makes an appearance at the end.
Basically as
reason,
himself.
Right? Yeah, right.
He's described
exactly.
as a former musician named Mick.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he just shows up that he's now some freedom fighter, for the resistance or whatever. So it's not good, but it really kind of embodies like the real hamminess of 80s action movies, where to a certain segment of the population are going to appreciate that. Whereas this just doesn't really have any personality. So I think it's a more competent film. Like visually it's more competent, but it just doesn't have any soul to it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And what's so frustrating is you can see, I think, Wright trying to force in some of the stuff that he would normally work, like the stuff with Michael Cera. But again, it's flat. The whole thing with the Americano reality TV family, right? Same thing. But none of it hits. It's all just flat and dull. And I will say too, that Richard Dawkins casting as Killian may be one of the top 5 casting choices of all time. That is such a perfect role for him, and he just devours that script. I mean, he is fantastic in that. It was just a brilliant piece of casting, putting him in that role. And Coleman Domingo kind of does that version of it. The Brolin plays Killian, but it's a different kind of character. Domingo plays the host of the show here, and he's fine. But again, like much of the film, almost everybody in this is kind of a non-entity. And it's disappointing. C's across the board, folks. If you had a chance to see The Running Man, it's currently in theaters. You know what was weird, too? I had to go see this. I like to go on Monday nights because there's fewer people there. I had to go Sunday because they only had it at the Dolby on Sunday, like at 7 and like at 10.
Really? Weird.
Yeah.
What did they have in the Dolby on Monday? Do you remember?
I do not know. I just know it wasn't this. I think I don't know. Whatever the K-pop Demon Hunters, who knows? Whatever the kids are watching nowadays.
Sure.
So, all right, Matt. Let's do it quickly, all right? Let's do a Letterboxd Edgar Wright ranking. There's not that many films. And I will say, too, folks, I think I can speak for Matt, as I have not seen his first film called A Fistful of Fingers. It's like a little indie film he made in 95 for like 15 grand. And I have not seen the Spark Brothers documentary. All right.
Okay. Me neither. I've never seen either of those.
But these are the other films he's directed. We have Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim, The World's End, Baby Driver, Last Night in Soho, and The Running Man. Well, clearly, Running Man and Last Night in Soho are going to be our bottom two, right?
Yeah. Yes. I agree.
All right. So we can make that a thing. And then we have Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End, Baby Driver, and Scott Pilgrim. What do you think goes before Last Night in Soho? Actually, you know what? I'll share it with you. Let me share the screen with you. I'm not going to probably won't publish this video, folks, but I'm going to share it with Matt just so he can follow along because I'm a nice guy. And that's what I do. There you go. That should help you a bit.
Yeah. So I'm going to say The World's End would be next.
Interesting. They're interesting. All right. I think I'm comfortable with that. I can do that.
Okay. All right. This is where it gets hard. I have to set aside the fact that Kevin Spacey and Ansel, whatever his name is in this film, right? But Baby Driver is still so good and so clever. I wish I really want to put it higher, but I think Baby Driver goes next because I really loved Baby Driver.
Yep. All right. So that leaves us Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and Scott Pilgrim. I'm going to be honest with you. I might be fine with that order right there.
Really? You think you wouldn't put Scott Pilgrim, that you just said was his best film, first?
Well, for me, I'm talking favorites. Which one I'm watching more? That's probably the order I would watch these in. And this is my list of favorites. Technicality or proficiency, maybe Scott Pilgrim would be one, but just sheer enjoyment for me, I just love Shaun of the Dead, and then I love Hot Fuzz, and then Scott Pilgrim. That's kind of how I would fall. But I'm open. We can negotiate this.
So, shock of all shocks, this is what I would do. I would flip Scott Pilgrim and Shaun of the Dead.
Okay.
Personally,
you keep Hot Fuzz too.
Learned. Yeah, I have learned. I have started to love Hot Fuzz. I think more than I like Shaun of the Dead. I've really started to appreciate Hot Fuzz
for the greater good. Yeah, all right. I'm feeling nice. I'll do that for you right now. We'll do that, and maybe I'll rewatch him at some point. Even though gestures wildly to his mass collection of movies that have been unopened. But because I said that it is technically probably, I think, his best film, and it does a lot of gags. And what's his name? The Culkin kid is absolutely brilliant in it. And it's got the evil exes. Yeah. I love Shaun of the Dead so much, though. But... all right, I think you know what? I guess that's fine.
You sure? You sure, pal? I don't feel like you feel good about it.
I don't. I like how I had it. I like Shaun, Hot Fuzz, and Pilgrim personally, but I think that's fine. What am I gonna do?
You know what? I would probably concede that most people are gonna put Shaun of the Dead first, right? But I think that's like the film that introduced people to Edgar Wright, and that's like how he kind of blew up and came up on the scene. The more I've rewatched all of his movies, I just think that those two I just enjoy more. Not to say that I don't like Shaun of the Dead, and maybe it's just a factor that I've seen Shaun of the Dead the most out of all of these, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I guess I was thinking I rewatched The Descent a little while ago. By the way, if you're a Descent fan, Lionsgate Limited has this 4K steelbook available right now. It was out of stock. It looks like it is currently out of stock, but they are going to restock it. I don't know if you saw online too, Bill Hunt of the Digital Bits, he posted online, and one of the big issues why all these things are selling out. And I actually ran into Brad Henderson at Viper Video. Brad Henderson is one of the main guys at TerrorVision. and he lives pretty close to here. So every now and then I'll run into him at Viper Video. And this time Shelby actually straight introduced me to him, which was cool. But he basically told, because I'm waiting to get Student Bodies in 4K from TerrorVision. And he goes, well, it's the processing plant. It's the pressing plant, I should say. They are so backed up because of all the stuff. It takes forever now because there's fewer of them. So there used to be more out there, but then some of the companies started to shift away from physical media. A lot of those companies kind of closed up. A lot of those plants closed up. So there's fewer of them now, but there's still a demand. So now we have these things where stuff just sells out, and it takes so much longer to get stuff back on the shelves. He's actually was saying like they're looking at going with another company now because the delay has been so long. So, because I think this was supposed to come out like in October for before Halloween, and it's now mid-November, almost the end of November. So that's basically what's going on with all of that. What was I going there? Oh, so I remember watching The Descent. It's one of the few. There's a few movies that I remember. I remember seeing GoldenEye in the theater. I remember seeing The Descent in the theater, and then I remember walking into Shaun of the Dead at the theater, not knowing who Edgar Wright was. I hadn't seen Spaced. I had no familiarity with him whatsoever, and I just laughing my ass off. I think that's why there's a nostalgia, I think, connected with me for Edgar Wright, in particular with Shaun of the Dead, because it's one of those where I just walked in cold, like when I saw Brick in the theater, right? These Black Dynamite, these really kind of special moments, and Shaun of the Dead was one of those for me.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I think we've talked about it on the show when, I was not familiar with the Scott Pilgrim property at all, and I knew who Edgar Wright was. Obviously, it had 2 films before then, right? And they were both really enjoyable films. But when the Universal logo comes on and it's 8-bit and it's got I'm like, I'm gonna love this movie. And that was like literally like as soon as it started, and then it was just one of those things that again. I didn't see Shaun of the Dead, I don't think, in the movie theater. I think I ended up seeing it on home video, so maybe that's part of the affection of it as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely. Very likely. All right, folks, there it is. If you go to Letterboxd, and then you got to look for, I think you got to look for me, though, Matt. Maybe you can copy it if you want to. I don't know, whatever. Do what you want to do. Live your life.
I'm gonna change the order just to piss you off.
Just search for Chris Scalzo on Letterboxd. Follow me. We'll be friends, and you'll see the list. We have a few official TFR lists that we try and hash out. We did Edgar Wright. We did, obviously, PTA, the Conjuring films, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ooh, we might be over. Are we overdoing that? I don't know. We'd have to look. The Mission Impossible franchise. This is my favorite. I ranked the Friday 13 films by horniness.
That's fine.
Bond films. I still want to do that with Matt at some point. Watch all the James Bond movies. Movies that make me cry. Okay, Jaws movies. Cheesy but fun Jaws movies. And then like Jaws movies. I think I have another one. So anyway.
That's funny.
I like doing. I got to do more lists. It's fun. Letterboxd, Chris Scalzo.
I mean, nerds love lists. You got to make lists.
That's very true. Or was that it? I think that was it. And just as a PSA again, you need if you're going to listen to Ziggy Stardust and Spiders from Mars, you have to listen to the 2024 mix. I listened to it again today, Matt. It's the best sounding version of the album I've heard. It's still not on streaming services. So I had to buy the Blu-ray, and I have it. Sounds great. But I ripped it and made the mix down so it's stereo. But I can still I hear it, and it's incredible. I love it. And when I think about the Foreigner 4 one I bought, that is a disaster of a whatever it's called. CD? No, but it's SACD, not SACD. The Atmos mix. The Atmos mix.
Oh, yeah.
It's crap.
Gotcha.
I'm done. Matt, what's up next week in the show?
Did we decide? I know we talked about this, but I can't remember where we landed.
Sisu
because
2.
We weren't... Sisu 2? Okay, we're doing Sisu 2. That's what we're doing. Is there anything else we want to watch with it? I mean... We have
a
catch up with
to be watched column, which is Sovereign, Together, Baltimoreans, Bone Lake. There's Sisu 2. You can get rid of that. Hedda, Die My Love, which I think we're going to have to wait. I think it's leaving the theaters. Keeper we may do at some point. And then The Mastermind, which is Lynn Ramsey's new film, but I think that's limited in the theaters too. So It would be like Sovereign or Together or Bone Lake. I do want to see Bone Lake. It's supposed to be a like a erotic thriller horror film type thing.
Oh, you had me at erotic thriller.
We'll see if that works into then. In the meantime, check us out at thefirstrun.com. You can find archives of all the old shows. There's a player there, the report card, which I do need to update, and more. Head on over to Apple Podcasts. Give us a review. It'll help other people find the show. We're also on YouTube and Instagram and Blue Sky. I am and the show. And I guess that will be that for this week, Matt. We're going to go ahead then and take an extended break. I love you all very much. Please, for the love of Jesus, take care of yourselves, and we will see you all soon. And I'm going to give you 2 stingers this week because I love you. Enjoy those.
Say the word, man, and you can be the one doing the stalking. What do you think?
You cold-blooded bastard. I'll tell you what I think of it. I live to see you eat that contract. But I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine! Ah! Here is Sub-Zero! Now, Plane Zero!